Hey guys, it's Hunter. So I took Ace to the pharmacy today to do some PA training, and I filmed a bit of our training session, so I thought I would edit that and put a public access training video on my channel for you guys today. So that's what this video is going to be, so I hope you enjoy. So while Ace and I were doing training in the store, we worked on a bunch of different things, such as his downstays, which you see here. He does sniff the shelf briefly, but I ask him to leave it, and then he does, and I reward him for that. Then we move on to doing some brief heel work as we walk down the aisle, making sure that if he does try to sniff anything, I do correct him for that. I do use a lot of treats when doing PA training just because he's only done a few short outings and I want to try and keep him as engaged with me as possible in these very high distracting areas. And here you can see him alerting to me as I start doing my anxiety scratching behavior just before we turn to come back down the aisleway. Ace does a quick anxiety alert here as I start shaking my leg, which he paws at me for to let me know that I am doing this behavior. And then I start pretending to look at items on the shelf to make sure that he's not going to start wandering around or sniffing things and keeping his position. Then we go back to practicing some more heel work towards the end of the aisleway. Once we get to the end, I ask him to go into a down, and then I start doing some downstay practices where I will step away from him for a brief second and then go back to him and reward him for staying in that down, just building up on small little duration bursts to get him used to me being further away from him in the future and building up on his downstay. And then he gives me a perfect focused heel as we walk back down the aisle again. Here Ace does his between command where he will go between my legs and either sit or down when asked. This is helpful so that he will stay out of the way of other ongoing shoppers and employees if they were to come down the aisle that we're in. And then I proceed to pretend to do some shopping and looking at products on the shelves again to make sure he holds his position, doesn't engage with anything that I'm touching or looking at, and he doesn't get distracted. This helps him build on the fact that he has to be focused on me and not engaging or being distracted by all the little things that go on in the environment around him. Moving on, I put his leash on the ground and proceed to walk in the opposite direction to build up on his downstay as I mentioned earlier, just taking a few steps away from him at a time and letting him know that just because I'm walking away, he has to stay there. In this clip, when I'm off camera, I was looking at other products on the shelves and he continues to hold his downstay and focuses on me until I return. He does get distracted here by sniffing the floor, but I just tell him a quick and simple leave it and then he continues to focus back on me. As I do want to note that service dogs and service dogs in training are not perfect and do make mistakes, here Ace does get a little bit confused when I ask him to heel and he walks around behind me and then sniffs an item on the shelf and then I get a bit tangled in the leash, but with a little bit of recorrection I get him back in the right position and then we're ready to carry on with our training. Don't ever be discouraged if your dog does make a little bit of a mistake like this. It's bound to happen and it's just a part of the training process. Before we ended our training session, I decided to practice our scratching interruption task. I do like to throw these little pop quizzes at Ace every now and then during training just to make sure he's staying focused on his job. I then ask him for a simple down and that finishes off our PA trip. Thank you so much for watching and please let me know down in the comments if you guys like these type of voiceover videos. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more service dog content.